In this video, I'll be going over expression with variables on both sides. Here is an example. Okay, before we do anything, what we want to do with variable that shows on both sides of the equation is that we want to get the variable by itself. So from this example, we have the variable y on both sides. We could either isolate the y on the right or isolate on the left. Either way will work. Now the number, we have -10 and +20. And whichever side we isolate the variable y to, we'll isolate the numbers to the other side. So in this case, I'm going to isolate y to the left. In order to isolate y to the left, we need to add 2y on the right. Whatever we do on the right side, we need to do the same to the left. So we also add 2y here. So 4y plus 2y is 6y. And since we have a -2y and adding a +2y, then this becomes 0y. Anything times by 0 is 0. So then this is gone. We bring down the -10. And then we bring down the +20 here. And now we can see that we only have y on one side now, which is exactly what we wanted. Okay, now we're going to move the numbers to the right because we have y on the left, so we need the number on the right. So the number 20 here, we're going to move it over to the right. And in order to do that, what do we need to do? That's right, we need to -20 here. And whatever we minus on the left side, we need to minus on the right. So -20 here. So -10 minus 20 is -30. And then we have 6y, we'll bring it down, and 20 minus 20 becomes 0. Now we're ending with 6y equals -30. And this is exactly what we wanted. We want the variable on one side and the number on the other. And now the final step is to get y by itself. Now we have 6y here, so how do we get y by itself? Well, we could divide by 6 on both sides. So 6 and 6, that's eliminated, so we're ending with y by itself. And then we divide 6, and then we take -30 divided by 6. So y will end up with -5. And that's the answer for y. Now, if you want to verify if this is done correctly, what we can do is we can plug the y back into the original equation. And once we plug it back, the left side of the equation and the right side of the equation should have the same value. Then that determines whether or not we have the right answer. So I'm going to erase some of these to get it out of the way so we can work on the plugging of y back into the original equation. Okay, I'm gonna stop right here. Okay. Let's put that back. All right, so now we're gonna plug it back in. So 4 times -5 plus 20, -10 minus 2 multiplied by -5. Okay, so 4 times -5 is -20 plus 20, and then we have -10. Here we have -2 multiplied by -5, that equals +10. Because we have double negative. So negative multiplied by negative becomes positive. So then we have +10. And so -20 plus 20 is 0. Negative 10 plus 10, also 0. So this tells us that our answer of y minus 5 is correct because after we plug in y as negative 5 back into the expression, and the expression came out to be true, which is 0 equals 0. That's a true statement. So that means that our answer of y equals negative 5 is correct. So that is one way that you could check on your answer, just to make sure that you've done it correctly. Now let's try another one. Alright, so here we're gonna do the same. With this expression, the variable that we are working with is x in this case. Since the last time we moved the variable to the left, so this time we're gonna move the variable to the right, just to prove a point that you can move to either right or left, the answer will come out the same. Okay, so to move x to the right, it means that we need to eliminate x on the left. So what we're working with is the negative 4x here. So how do we move negative 4x to the right side here? Well, we could just add 4x like so, and then we would need to do the same on the right. So this will eliminate, and then we will have 10x. And then we bring down the 10, the minus 10, and then we bring down the 30. Now that we got x on one side, we need to move the number of negative 10 over to the left. So to do that, we need to add 10 here and do the same on the left. So negative 10 plus 10 is 0, so that will go away. And then 30 plus 10 is 40. And then we bring down the 10x. Now that we got x by itself on the right side, all we gotta do is divide this by 10 so we can get x by itself. And also do the same on the left. So now we got x by itself. So 40 divided by 10 is 4. So this means that x is 4. Or you can write it as this. And now we're going to plug this back into the equation and see if the answer is correct. Okay, so we have 30 minus 4 times 4, x is 4. 6 times 4 minus 10. Okay, and then we have 30, and negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. And 6 times 4, 24, minus 10. And 30 minus 16 is 14. 24 minus 10, 14. So, as you can see, 14 equals 14 is a true statement. So, that means x equals 4 is correct. Now we're going to have a quiz problem. And this quiz problem is going to tell you whether or not you've mastered this lesson. So here is the quiz problem. Now feel free to pause the video while you work on this and simply play again when you are ready to see the answer. So we could move x to either left or right. In this case, I'm going to move to the left. So I'm going to start out by minus 2x on the right and move it to the left. This will eliminate this. And then 6x minus 2x, I will have 4x. Then we bring down the 10, and this equals negative 20. Now we're going to move the numbers to the right. So we're going to minus 10 here, and then minus 10 here. And this crosses out. Negative 20 minus 10 is negative 30. And then we have 4x here. And last step would be to divide by 4. I see we can simplify negative 30 by dividing by 2 and also the 4 by 2. So that would become negative 15 over 2. So that's the answer. It's an improper fraction, and that could also be converted to negative 7 and 1/2. So now what we're going to do is plug this back into the original equation and see if the answer is done correctly. Okay, so we're going to take the improper fraction of negative 15 over 2 here, as it's easier to multiply rather than the mixed number. So we take 6 times by negative 15 over 2 plus 10, and then 2 times negative 15 over 2 minus 20. Okay, so 6 multiplied by negative 15 over 2, we can convert 6 to a fraction by adding 1 in the denominator, as that doesn't change the value. And 6 times negative 15, the 6 and 2 actually simplifies. I can divide both of them by 2. So the denominator here becomes 1, and the numerator here becomes 3. So 3 times negative 15 is negative 45. Now the denominator now are both 1. We don't need to include them. It's the same value. So it becomes a whole number of negative 45, and then we just add 10 after. And then over here, I see 2 can convert to a fraction, and this will simplify as both of them are divisible by 2. So they basically all become 1. 1 times negative 15 is negative 15, and 1 times 1 is 1. So we don't have to include that. So we have negative 15 minus 20. And so negative 45 plus 10 is negative 35. And negative 15 minus 20 is negative 35. So that tells us that our answer of negative 15 over 2 is correct. So for this one, you could write the answer as negative 15 over 2 or negative 7 and 1/2. And hopefully this is the answer that you've gotten. If so, great job. You mastered this lesson. If not, you can go back and check where you made a mistake and try it again later. So the method for dealing with expression with variables on both sides is to isolate the variable on one side and number on the other. This way we can get the value for the variable and then plug it back into the expression to see if the answer is correct. Hopefully this video is helpful to you, and thank you for watching.